Is it not? Hopefully you can see all that. I didn't even take that into consideration. Roger that. Okay. Dun-dun-dun. All right, my tablet says it's 5:30. Let's get this neuro party started. We are going to do emotional regulation breathing, inhaling and exhaling, inhaling and exhaling, and inhaling and exhaling 3 times on my descending count of 3 and 2 and 1. Let's go ahead and get started in here. 3, 2, 1. That went left. Okay, good morning, Jerry. Good morning, Daisy. All right, let me flip this around. Happy Thursday. Oh no, I cut myself yesterday. A little scrape. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. It is me, Dr. Donna Thomas-Rodgers, daughter of Leslie, Darnell Thomas, granddaughter of Arthur Jethro Evelyn II, and great-granddaughter of Levi Thomas. I actually did the nasal rinse, Jared. It already happened. So what takes place is I am 30%. This sinusitis came from the military. So I got it, and yet, so you can imagine if I didn't do the nasal rinse. So what happens is some days, because we live in the desert, a bunch of stuff, it rains. We didn't get snow, but we got rain. We'll have rain. We had yesterday rain, today rain, and potentially early tomorrow. So the rain took, because we still have leaves on the trees here. They just started falling off. Fall is now in winter. But anyway, so all that came down yesterday. When it all falls down. So it all fell down yesterday, so it's in the air. But yeah, I did my nasal rinse at like 3:20 this morning. But good morning, Lola. So that part. So I will be using a spray today as well as an allergy pill. So sometimes I can get away with 1, sometimes 2, but today it will be all 3. All right, so today's topic, what I'll be remiss if they better cut that check. So you serious about your money, Jared? A lot of stuff you let go, but you like okay. So we're gonna be drinking water right here, right now, and then we're gonna continue to drink water. Drink water. When I say that as a level 4 subscriber. So drink water. You will type in drink water, and then we will drink water. All right. Yesterday I was at an appointment. I alluded to this on the TikTok live. Contractors put 40 of the wrong size handles and wrong color on someone's custom built home. So they asked Nola, she was there putting some shelves there about 2 weeks ago, to come and fix that. And so she was fixing that. And then she was doing, yes, it is due. That's been taken care of, Jared. Thank you for that. Yes, all done with that. Yes, that part. So, yeah, this line isn't secure, but they have done their part. I've done my part. They've done their part, and that part is concluded. So then she had to put these 2 mirrors, and we'll show you those 2 mirrors tomorrow. She had to put mirrors above vanities in their primary bathroom. And so what took place was the mirrors had to be, so they had 6-inch backsplash, and the mirrors had to be 4 inches above the backsplash, so basically 10 inches from the counter. And then the mirrors were, I don't know, 55 inches. No, how high up were the mirrors? So basically, she had to stand on the bathroom counter to get them. So the mirrors between the up from the counter and the mirrors were taller than hers. Huh? They're what? So the mirrors were 55 and a half inches tall, and I think Nola is 62 inches, or somewhere around there. So with her arms, she was able to measure and do everything. And so there are 2 heavy mirrors that had to go over the counter. Now, when these things take place that are totally out of my wheelhouse and my comfort zone, I go and do other things. Anything but that right there. So I asked, what part do you need me for? And then, unfortunately, I didn't have to do a lot. I had to hold the tape measure, because that's about where between her standing on them counters and holding that stuff up and all. This was already after. And Nola Bridges said happy belated 23 birthday. And so, yeah, after the 40 handles were wrong and they drilled wrong into the drawers, and so then it wasn't flush, and she was trying to cover up the holes of the misdrill and all of that, I had enough. So go upstairs and do that part. And now I'm just like, I have to do things. So I'm like, let me prepare for my live. Let me do anything but this. So this is how we ended up with happiness and joy today. And I want to go over the difference between the two, and then we will go into our 3 rounds. So here is the clear distinction. Here is what happiness is. Happiness is external and it's conditional. External and conditional. So it depends on what is happening. Success, comfort, praise, pleasure. Then that determines if you're going to be happy or not. And it fluctuates easily. You could start out happy in the day, and by the end of the day, no longer be happy anymore. And it's closely tied to manufactured dopamine. So it's the reward and the anticipation. Ooh, this is going to make me happy. Ooh, I can't wait. We're going on vacation. It's going to make me happy. Ooh, I'm about to get my favorite food. This is going to make me so happy. So it goes up and down based upon circumstances. It is situationally dependent. So an example is, I'm happy because things are going my way. That makes me happy. Now, joy on the other side is an internal state, and it's stable. So the song that I used to sing back in the day when I was in the choir, don't you know that I still have joy? The joy of love is my strength. I still have joy. That song. So that part. Because you got to have joy no matter what's taking place. And so it comes from meaning and alignment and identity. So it comes from the inside. It comes from here, not out here. So happiness is temporary. It's external. It can happen. It cannot happen. Not at all. But that joy, that unspeakable joy, that joy that comes from every single, that's on the inside. And so joy can coexist with discomfort, effort, or grief. You can still have joy. I have had joy my whole life. That's why on my pictures, other than when I was married, I'm still smiling. Because that joy was coming from the inside of me. It was not coming from the outside. There was nothing about me growing up that said, "Ooh, you should be happy. You should be happy, Dee Dee. Look at all this happening. Be happy." So no, that was not taking place. That was not my reality at all. And Joe is saying, it's please share and like the live. Thank you for that, Joe. So joy it can coexist in discomfort, effort, or grief. That's why I was able, the counter itself was about 4.5 feet off the ground too. So the mirror was about 10 feet in the air, and it was about 40 pounds with a metal frame that needed to be centered on the faucet 4 inches up. Right, and she'll show you all that. So she was basically 10 feet in the air on the bathroom counter, that part. Hence, that's why we have today's lesson. So I was being productive. I call that productive procrastination. So joy is closely tied to serotonin, oxytocin, not oxycodone, but oxytocin and PFC integration. So these are things, internal things. I know now y'all can see why I was looking the other way. I was like, okay. And it had to be centered. Oh, wait. And they had already made 2 holes because lights are going to go on both sides of the mirror. So then she had to put it in the center of the 2 pre-existing holes that were getting ready. They covered them, but they were getting ready to have lights. So lights on both sides of the mirror too. So the wiring for the mirrors were already there as well. So yeah, never a dull moment in a symbol. Never a dull moment. But the joy is closely tied to serotonin, oxytocin, and the prefrontal cortex integration. So it's less reactive to circumstances. You said what, Dr. Donna? So let's unpack this. So here's an example. So I'm tired. This is hard. And I feel joy doing what matters. So I'm day 780 days consecutively live. I have joy, but not necessarily happiness. Because 770 of those days I was dealing with trolls and everything else under the sun. Still got joy because joy allows you to continue to do something when you are discomforted, when it doesn't feel good, when you can't see light at the end of the tunnel, you can still have and experience joy because of that serotonin and oxytocin release. And it's also strengthening my prefrontal cortex. I will say that my prefrontal cortex is extremely strong now. I've been gone from my corporate job for 15 and a half years, and my brain is strong as I don't know what. It is like superhuman strength over here, superhuman neurological strength that is taking place for me because of that leap of faith that I took on June 25th, 2010 at about 9:17 a.m., if we try to be exact. So here is the brain difference, and this is important. Happiness activates short-term reward loops. Great for, wait for it, the M word, motivation. So happiness is tied to motivation. Happiness is tied to motivation, but it's weak for endurance. So don't worry, be happy doesn't work in this instance. Joy, however, reflects the prefrontal cortex coherence. And so it has value and purpose and identity and long-range regulation. So to quote, if you got to choose fear or love, or Machiavellian concept, if you got to choose happiness or joy, choose joy. If you must choose joy. And this is why happiness, you can be happy and dysregulated. You can be happy and dysregulated because it's a short thing. It's going to be a lot of people happy today. And then by this evening, they're going to be dysregulated. Back to your dysregulation. You can be joyful and calm under pressure. A lot of pressure yesterday because the client wasn't there because at her house that she currently lives in, she had a leak. So she had to be there with the plumber and everything else. So we were there by ourselves. This mansion wasn't haunted. So that was good. It was daytime. So it was good to go, even though it was raining. So you can have joy. I got joy right now. Calm, cool as the other side of the pillow under pressure because you have a regulated emotional center with a strong prefrontal cortex. So joy goes with emotional regulation and a strong prefrontal cortex. Happiness goes with emotional dysregulation and a weak prefrontal cortex. Let me go ahead and make that a highlight. All right. So why does this matter for real leadership and midlife brains? Because happiness asks, how do I feel right now? How do I feel right now? And joy asks, hey, who am I becoming even when this is hard? Very self-reflective question coming from joy. So happiness wants to know, how do I feel right now? I ain't happy right now. I'm not happy. I need something to make me happy. That's why capitalism works. That's why I bought this and it made me happy. And now 6 months later, it's in the garage. Now you need something else to make you happy. Now you're 50 pounds overweight because you just been eating happiness every day. Ooh, this coffee with all this sugar in it makes me so happy. I'm happy. That part. But joy says, who am I becoming? Even when this is hard. 2 levels up. Even when this is hard. So as the brain matures, especially when you get to your midlife, joy becomes more sustainable in your emotional state. That's why people have midlife crisis. Because they was choosing happiness. Happy, 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 happy. And they wake up one morning midway through life and they say, damn, I ain't happy no more. I got to go buy a sports car. Got this 40-year-old wife, I need to trade her in for 2 20-year-olds. I'm sick of this man. He stank and his feet is ashy. I got to go. Whatever it is. I need to move. I need to shave all my hair off. I'm going to grow my hair out. I'm going to go and I'm going to get hot girl summer. I'm going to get this body snatched. I'm going to quit my job. I'm going to start a business. All these things are happening because you woke up one morning and you weren't happy anymore. You weren't happy anymore. And so what happens is when you got joy, and that's what I actually have. I left that corporate job at 37 years old. I am now 52 years old, and I got joy still. I still have joy. Don't you know that I still got joy. Emotional regulation, a lot of frustration tolerance. I wouldn't be here for 780 days live if I didn't have frustration tolerance. I have identity stability. I know who I am. You can't tell me who I am. And long-term leadership capacity. I'm leading at a very, 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 very high level now because of this joy and not happiness. Because if I was paying attention to happiness, I wouldn't have 12,000 videos. I wouldn't have read a book. I would be back like my mentors at a corporate job because this work wasn't making me happy, but I got joy. It wasn't immediate. It wasn't a manufactured dopamine. I'm walking in the room. They're like, hey, there's Dr. Donna, the senior VP of sales and supply chain optimization. And I have no big ass corner office and all this. And I got it all, 5 weeks of vacation and all of this other stuff. I had stock options when I was there, but that's not the point. So bigger bonuses and all these other things. No, just joy. Just joy over here. That's it. Joy. So happiness is a reaction. Joy is a state. Happiness is a reaction. Oh my gosh, you got my favorite thing. But joy says, this shit is hard as hell. Didn't nobody teach people how to use their brain in elementary school or middle school or high school or college or at the job. This is difficult. This is discomforting. How do you wake up every day with this much optimism? Dr. Donna, because I got joy. I got joy on the inside because every time I read one of y'all's anything, when I watch my daughter stand putting stuff 10 feet in the air, measuring correctly with no extra holes in the wall, that's joy. That says neuropability and real leadership is working. That's joy. This is my shit I created and y'all using it. That's joy. Happiness would be, I got my bonus check. We couldn't wait till the first Friday in March to get our bonus checks. And the government couldn't either because they took 40%. Motherfuckers was capital gains taxing the shit out of us on them bonuses. But that part, immediate gratification, has been kicking my butt lately. Yes, it has. And the reason why it's been kicking your butt lately, Jared, because 'tis the season to be slacking. Fa la 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 la. Don't do anything you don't want to. Don't do it, don't do it, don't do it. Put that shit off until January 2nd. Don't do nothing, la 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 la. Hi, Trinae, and welcome. So don't do it, because it says don't do shit. You ain't doing nothing for the next week in about 4 days. First week of January is when people going to get back to it with them lilutions. So it is the season of cakes and candies and cookies. We actually bought a Sara Lee pound cake, old school. They still sell those. And we used to put some whipped cream on top of it, some strawberries. I told Nola to go get the little one. They didn't have the little one. They had the family size one. We took 2 little bitty slices. And unfortunately, we're going to take too many slices. 2 slices a day. We're going to be done. And that bad boy is going into the garbage. We will not be overindulging. That is not happening. So after we have our seafood boil, we're going to have a little bit piece of pound cake and we're going to be done. All things in moderation, nothing in excess. You have been programmed. Your taste buds have been programmed. Here's the time for all that cobbler and cake and sweet potato pie and everything else. Everybody got a socket to me cake and all kind of chocolate black forest. It's just everywhere you go. There goes some desserts there. At the party, at the everything. They got new donuts and cronuts and all this other stuff. And you just, that's no brainer. You're going to be paying for it in January. So that part. So joy is a state, happiness is a reaction. Joy is a state, and happiness is a reaction. And that's why everybody keeps wanting to be happy. I just want to be happy. No, you don't want to be happy. You want to experience joy. So no matter what discomfort situation you're in, no matter how many times people offer you Krispy Kreme donuts, the answer is no. The answer is no. That part right there. So here's your morning mental workout. For the level 4 subscribers, go ahead and type I'm here in the chat so we can get these rounds going. Today's work is not about feeling good. Feel good. Nope, that's not what it's about. I've been real fussy lately. I was wondering why. It's slacking off. It's time to slack off. That's why for those of you to be here today on this live, 'tis the season to be braining, learn. Because everybody slacks off. And then they find themselves, this is like the Christmas hangover. And now they're going to be January 15th, January 20th, trying to get into the swing. You know, the holidays every year just take me out. It just take me a minute to go ahead and get through and get back on track again. And the math is simple, ladies and gentlemen. For people stop at Halloween and don't pick shit back up till January 2nd for 3 days. Thanksgiving, Christmas, and New Year's. You wasted 63 days of your life for 3 days. That don't make no damn sense. That math don't never math. So you missing out on 60 doggone Neuro reps for 3 days that aren't even 4 days. I know you cooking, but Thanksgiving dinner takes about an hour for everybody to eat. Then they sit around and talk. Christmas takes about 20 minutes for everybody to open their gifts. And New Year's Eve, you got to wait until midnight. So it's technically the next day. Hallelujah. That's it. You're talking about 5 to 7 hours. And you got 60-something days for 5 to 7 hours. 10 hours if you're really feeling froggy. And then people are like, oh, we got to go to Brazil. Those clients like, we got to go. So then if you got some money, now you got to go Christmas somewhere else. So now you got to go and be on a plane and do all of that. Come back tired and exhausted. Then spent more money than you should have. And now you spend January and February recovering. So if you look at it, if you already taken November, December off, January and February recovering, people got 8 months. 240 days to actually be productive. They losing 120 some days a year on four days. That part. That's Halloween, Christmas, New Year's, and Thanksgiving. For 4 days. Yeah. 120 days wasted on 4 days. So, okay. Anyway, I digress. But they're happy. They're definitely happy until they're not. Then they got to go find some more happiness. Because you couldn't have told me that I was going to have the same when I left my corporate job, that I was going to not have on jewelry anymore. I wasn't going to be pulling up in the woo and all, and I was going to have this unspeakable joy. I'd be like, bullshit. I need my stuff. Not at all. Semantics marketing. Yes. That's what's happening. So that part, that's why dysregulation works. Because you just keep needing to be motivated. You just keep needing to be happy and need to be happy. Because joy takes longer to get to. Joy, you got to work at. Joy says, in my discomfort, in my still needing to make an app and do all these other things, I still have joy. That part, in my watching my child be that far up in the air after the 40 handles. Because I had never been to the bedroom to go see. Because they had 20 stairs. I was like, I'm going up them stairs once. They're wide too, because of how high the ceilings are. It's like, I'm going up once, I'm coming down once. That part. And I saw them and I was like, and then it was a cleat system. And then it had grooves in it. And it wasn't a cleat on both sides. There's only one cleat with grooves on one side of the mirror. Lola can understand that part. So one-sided cleat with just little grooves in these very decorative mirrors. That part. So anyway, I still had joy in that moment. When we were done, I told my daughter what a great job she'd done. Her measuring and all that had come such a long way in these 5 years of being in business. So here we go with joy. Most adults confuse happiness with joy. And that confusion weakens their nervous system. You said what, Doc? Confusing happiness with joy weakens your nervous system, which means it weakens your amazing brain. I never really paid attention to the time of the season. My somatic markers and twins are throwing a fit. There you go, Jared. That's my gift to you today. So remember, I was supposed to provide some information, have a conversation, or do something nice. I forgot what the other two were in this moment for the TikTok live. So that is my gift to you today, that is what's happening. Their taste buds are angry. They are angry. What you mean we ain't eating no banana pudding? What you mean we not eating no banana pudding? What's wrong with you? Aunt Peggy only make the doggone peach cobbler once a year. How you gonna not eat it just once a year? You can have some. You can lick the pan. No, you can't. Okay. So now here are the rules today for the level 4 subscribers. What you're going to do is you're going to listen carefully. And happiness is reactive. Joy is regulated. Give me 1 second. I believe that we have. Okay, give me. I thought so. Okay, so joy is regulated. Happiness comes and goes with circumstances. Happiness comes and goes with circumstances. Did I not? Okay, I got it. Let me. Okay. And joy is regulated. Happiness comes and goes with circumstances, and joy is regulated. That part. So happiness makes it very temporary. Anytime you found yourself, just think about it for a second. Anytime you found yourself happy, it was for that moment. It was for that thing, that gift, that interaction, that concert, that event that made you happy. And then it went away. So this workout strengthens your regulation circuits, not your mood. Your regulation circuits, your brain circuitry is what we are doing with understanding the difference between happiness and joy. I don't really care about your mood because that's temporary and that's dysregulated. I'm in a bad mood. Okay, I need to be happy. But then you're going to be in a bad mood. Or you can wire your brain so that no matter what's taking place, you have joy. You still have joy. That part, no matter what is taking place, joy exists. So that's what we're doing today. No stories, no venting, just neural reps. The brain regions that we will be focused on today is Uncle Vinny. Ventromedial prefrontal cortex is the brake pedal. And Vinny is going to provide us with meaning and values. The ACC, Miss Brenda Jones, focus blade, conflict tolerance. Conflict tolerance. The insula is an internal awareness switch. And the basal ganglia, we know that's the homie with the discipline loop. So round one. And before we get into round one, let's go ahead and drink water. All right. Round one is the identify. So right now, silently ask yourself, am I chasing happiness or am I standing in joy? Am I chasing happiness or am I standing in joy? Now notice this. Happiness feels urgent. It's urgent. It's like that. Joy feels grounded. It's peaceful. Extremely peaceful. Hurry up, we gotta get to the concert. Hurry up, we gotta go on vacation. Hurry up, we gotta go to the mall. Oh, we gotta buy it now. It's only 3 left. Fear of missing out. That's happiness. Heightened sense of awareness, alertness. Gotta hurry up and get it. Whew. Let me get these desserts before everybody take it. Let me get there early so I can get my piece of cake first. That part. Notice. It's no judgment. Just notice. And after you've noticed it, go ahead and type noticed in the chat. Is it happiness? Is it joy? Don't be mad. And still wasn't doing right. That's because Amy and Lala are stronger than your prefrontal cortex. It's neurological. When you know better, you do better. And you can't do better if you don't have emotional regulation. So even knowing that, I mean, most addicts know that it's wrong, but the body, the addiction is stronger. So what happens is your body is stronger than your brain when you're dysregulated. So you will do and say things before the brain even realizes what happened because of the habit loop that was already formed. The brain likes repetition and habit because it's efficient. So if you know that, but you keep doing wrong, the habit is there. So you have to break the habit. You have to recode the habit in order for it to change. And so we're hardwired for negativity bias. We're hardwired for emotional dysregulation. We're hardwired for external stimuli. So all of that happens naturally. And so that's why neural reps are so important. So you literally can start doing them to strengthen your brain so you can actually rewire and wire the circuitry neurologically because it's happening up here. It physically feels like it, but the lack of having a strong prefrontal cortex is why those things keep happening. So you have to do something different, which is to wire your brain so that the part that actually has logic and reasoning and inhibition control and cognition, full cognition and regulation, is stronger than the part that was wired to be stronger. Got it. Good morning, Monique. So does that make sense, Trinae? So that part. So don't let Amy and Lala make you feel, yeah. Yes. And so what's happening now is Amy and Lala, especially Lala with that rumination, is trying to make you feel bad because their asses are the ones that told you to do the shit. and now and now instead of you looking at them, they're like, yeah, you should have did that. That was stupid. Why you do that? Like, motherfucker, you told me to do that. This shit is on you. That part. So yeah, now they didn't, you didn't sought all this happiness and they didn't got what they wanted. Hey! And now they're like, yeah, you should have did that. But thank you, because we appreciate it. We got what we wanted. Let that go. You hear it, now you changing. You don't know what you don't know. And just knowing it, the habit is stronger currently than the good habit. All right, so now number 2, you're going to separate. So say this internally to yourself. Happiness depends on outcomes. Happiness depends on outcomes. Joy depends on alignment. Happiness depends on outcomes. Still sports season. Did my team win? I'm happy. Fuck, they didn't win. I'm unhappy. Alignment. Did I do my Neuro rep today? I sure did. Ooh, I closed my reward loop and I got my own natural release of dopamine. Alignment. That regulation that happens no matter what. That predictability. That if you inspect what you expect, if you delegate a task to someone, they're going to do it correctly. And wow, they're going to have a growth opportunity and the task is going to be done. If you listen, you're going to hear some stuff from some people. That's predictable and that's alignment. That's why the system works, because it brings you joy. Every time you're a thermometer at the thermostat instead of a thermometer and you were cool as the other side of the pillow, you get a natural release of dopamine. And you get to say, I'm strengthening my inhibition control. Look at me, all neurologically mature and shit. That part. The twins tell you the wrong thing to do and then talk about you for doing it. Yeah, they two-faced like a mug. They sure do. They tell you, and then they sitting over there like Benita Betrayal. Just that made you feel bad. Rolls on 227, just looking at you. Like, you caused this. And back at talking you into some more stuff. And then make you feel bad for doing it. That's why they got to be regulated, because that is just insane. So happiness depends on your outcomes. Joy depends on your alignment. Feel the brake pedal engaged. Uncle Vinny. Hey, paisana, forget about it. You know, they're like, no. That's why you need him there, the enforcer, with his hair slicked back and his leather jacket on, his polyester shirt, and his pants pulled over his belly, and them leather loafers. Standing there. Potentially with a piece of pizza in his hand. That part. So that's your brain slowly showing emotional reactivity to what's taking place. Outcomes, alignment. So do you want outcomes or do you want alignment? Do you want outcomes or do you want alignment? One thing about alignment is they're predictable. Nola knew she could get the job done. She knew it was going to be some obstacles in there, but she still had joy. And when it was done, I forgot what the client said. I think it said they look amazing or something like that. Problem solved. So that part. So this is the regulation. This is the regulation. So in a dysregulated system, everything is immediate. Everything is right now. Everything is a problem. Everything can't be solved. It's this whole heightened sense of, even though the brain requires predictability, even though the brain performs better in a calm state, even though the brain is strengthened through learning, growth, and development in a regulated system, Amy and Lala, like Jared said, talking us in all this shit, then talking about us cold-blooded in a mug. That part. So that's where cognitive dissonance comes into play. You know the right thing to do. It doesn't match. Miss Brenda Jones is saying don't. You keep sitting her down, telling her to retire, letting Becky with the good hair come in and let you run around doing all kind of crazy stuff. You made Uncle Vinny retire, and Cody Surfer Dude's like, come on in, yeah, hey Lala, yeah, let's go and do some doggone skateboarding. We're gonna do some DMX in there, and then it's all bad ideas. Do you wake up the next morning like, why in the hell? Wake up next year, why in the hell? 20 years from now, why in the hell? Because of the dysregulation of happiness. So now type separated in the chat. You're going to separate them. Happiness is an outcome. Joy is actually alignment. You are neurologically aligned when you have joy, Because it doesn't matter what's happening, you still have it. It doesn't matter if you have 50 cents or $50 billion. Either way, you still have joy. Because people have thought, why aren't they happy? They got a lot of money. Because once you have a lot of money, you have a lot of money. So the happiness of having a lot of money, once you have it, you have it. That's it. And that's the loop I'm trying to break. Exactly. I am breaking. Don't take that trying out of there. Type that again, Jared. That's the loop I am focused on breaking. Stay focused is one of the 74 principles. So you can say, I'm staying focused on breaking that loop. That's what you can type in, because now that's neuroscience and real leadership together. I am staying focused to break that loop. That part. So you got to separate it. You have to understand that happiness is temporary. Happiness comes from an external stimuli, and it's going to produce manufactured dopamine, which Amy and Lala love. Yes. Staying focused. So I am staying focused on breaking that loop. So stay focused is the actual principle of real leadership. So staying. Now, if you just say I'm focused, that's not enough. You got to stay focused on it, so that it will be your primary objective until it's gone. Then you can go work on something else. So retype it one more time. I am staying focused on breaking that loop, or speech to text. I don't think you're working today though. Okay. To break that loop. Yes. So that part. And that's because it's doctrine over here. And a month ago, I would have let you just say focus and not say staying focused, but the system is the system. Okay, give me 1 second. All right. That part. So now number 3. And you are double time and a half time. Double time and a half. Are you talking military? Because that's the first thing I'm going to go say. So make sure I understand that part. We're going to drink some water and then go to round 3. Okay, so here is the install for the rule. I do not outsource my emotional state to circumstances. I do not outsource my emotional state to circumstances. So what this is, and you can go ahead and type that in. I do not outsource my emotional state to circumstances. Working today, double time. Oh, you are working. I got it. Double time and a half, because they would do that at Frito-Lay too. I got it. So go get your bread. I understand. This locks in frustration tolerance, emotional endurance, and leadership presence. And that's your discipline loop. So I do not outsource my emotional state to circumstances. I'm feeling bad, so I'm going to go get something to make me happy. I don't outsource my emotional state to circumstances. You don't do it. You don't do it. Okay, Jerry, get that shmoney. So you don't do it. So here are the coaching lines. Stop chasing feelings. You said what? Stop chasing feelings. Stop chasing. I want to feel like this. Let me go get that. You can't go. Now, here's one thing that I've never seen. And y'all can, because we all live different places other than Nola and I. Have you ever been to a store? If you go to Ross, up in the Marshalls, Ross, the grocery store, they have the signs above. What I've never seen is the feelings aisle at a store. Even in Whole Foods, Trader Joe's, the vitamin shop, I've never seen the feelings section where you could go pick up some happiness and some joy, some angers. Like, yeah, let me see. I need some 2 angers. I need some fuck that shit. I never seen that. Now, one time that you could go and purchase feelings. You can open up your feelings cabinet and just take out. I got some stress. Let me get some calm. I want to pick some calm. That's what I need. I need some happiness. I need some joy. I need some 0 fucks to give. I'm going to take 3 of those today. It's not happening. It's not happening. So that part. So you can't chase feelings. So stop. Stop doing that and start stabilizing your internal states. Feelings are not facts. That is correct. They're not. They're actually indicators that something is actually taking place. And neurologically, what actually happens is there's signals. And so a signal is derived from a somatic marker or a new experience. And what happens is the signal shows up, and neurologically, what needs to take place when you are in a regulated system is the insula says, oh, got something going on. Sends notification to the anterior cingulate cortex, which was either Becky with the good hair or Miss Brenda Jones. If it's Becky with the good hair, it's going to catastrophize, send it to Cody. Cody is going to let the twins run rampant, and you're going to create a somatic marker, which is also known as a dumbass plan. And now you're going to do some dumb shit. Or stimulus, the external signal shows up. Miss Brenda Jones says, yeah, that's not what's happening. She sends an actual good message to Vinny, which is the ventromedial prefrontal cortex. Vinny says, whoa, 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 Amy and Lala, sit down. Actually sends instructions to dorsolateral prefrontal cortex. It makes a plan, and then that goes into basal ganglia, and now you actually have a good habit for that. So that is why feelings are just a notification, a signal that something is taking place. And when you have a regulated emotional center, you process it, you develop a strategy for it, and then you implement that strategy whenever that feeling shows up. In a dysregulated system, you end up at the bar, you end up at the club, you end up with the walk of shame, you end up getting some stuff from somebody in a corner, in the alley somewhere, you end up at the mall, you end up on Amazon, you end up at the restaurant, you end up at the bakery, you end up vegging out and Netflix and chilling, you end up just, go, I'm gonna make this, I'm gonna do this. You end up making a whole bunch of crafts and shit. You end up doing a whole bunch of external things for something that happened internally. That's like trying to put lotion on cancer. That's not going to work. You got to fix it from the inside out. So this whole notion of I feel something on the inside, so let me do something on the outside to change how I feel on the inside, that doesn't match. I want to feel better. Okay, then wire better. Wire your brain better so that you can have joy instead of circumstantial happiness that's coming and going, coming and going. That's why it doesn't work. That's why you got to keep doing it. That's why people in our neighborhood have 2-car garages with 2 cars sitting in the driveway. Because the garage is full of happiness. Happiness. So much happiness going on. And Amazon packages at the front door. More happiness being delivered every single day. So real leaders don't need constant happiness. I need some happiness. That's why we drink water. I'm sure there are lives, I don't know if you can do it, but if you play that bullshit game, you at people's houses, it's like, oh, we got to drink. That drinking game. Every time somebody makes a basket, we're going to drink. That part. So real leaders require regulated joy. So today, when something doesn't go your way, don't fix it. Don't explain it. Regulate it on the inside. That's the neuro rep. That part right there. So now we're going to go to our brain bit, which is the present brain. So let me switch my green screen. Show my handy dandy real leader brain. And flip it around. There you go. Because this tis the season to be giving. Fa la 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 la. All right, so the present brain is the brain that understands this truth. The present moment is a gift. And I know that y'all have heard that a gazillion times. Stay in the present moment, it's a gift. You need to be present. The present is the only time that we have is now. It's present time. You've heard that. And attention is how you unwrap it. You said, what, Doc? Oh, didn't you get the B part? Attention is how you unwrap it. Everybody, the present is a gift. The present is a gift. But the real leader brain is opening it, unwrapping the gift. So metaphorically, your brain is holding a wrapped box. This is the present. Inside that box actually is clarity, regulation, learning, and leadership capacity. But only if you stay here can you access that in this moment. So what does this metaphor teach us? I'm glad you asked, Trinae. When your brain is in the past, the gift stays unopened. It's just there. When your brain is in the future, you shape the box, but you never open it. When your brain is present, you unwrap the gift one moment at a time. So presence isn't passive. It's an active neural decision. Just be in the present moment. Just be in the present moment. Well, you got to open it up. So the brain science behind the present brain is this. The dorsolateral prefrontal cortex holds the attention on now instead of ruminating or forecasting. That's thinking about the past or thinking about the future. I will visualize doing the right thing during my somatic markers, and amygdala tries to lead me into instant gratification. Very good, Jared. Great strategy. That's the SAP right there. So the ACC is Miss Brenda Jones is the focus plate and detects drifting and brings you back. Hey, pay attention. Pay attention. And the insula is the awareness switch. And it anchors your body in the moment together. We say in Al-Anon, be where your feet are. Be where your feet are. You are not in the past and you are not in the future. You in the now. And the basal ganglia is the discipline loop, and it trains presence through repetition. You are what you repeatedly do, thanks to the basal ganglia and all the habits that you marked for it. So presence is not a personality trait. It is a trained circuit. When you are not present, you are dysregulated. If you are saying, I need to be happy, then you are releasing dopamine for a future event. As soon as I get to the store, as soon as I get to the mall, when I get to the concert, when I go on vacation, and I'm going on vacation in 5 months, and so I'm going to be happy then. That is not present. You're holding the box in your hand and you're shaking it because the vacation is in the future, but you're not opening it. So here is the Real Leader translation. Distractions equal unopened gifts. Drifting, mind wandering, ruminating, all equals unopened gifts. You miss the moment because you're just holding the box and you're thinking about, ooh, when I open this box, when I open this box, when I open my other boxes, instead of opening the box that you got in your hand. And I'm going to use multitasking in this moment. Multitasking just equals torn wrapping. So you're still not opening it. You're just tearing it off. You're taking the bow off. You're taking the paper off. You're looking at the bottom of the box, but you're still not opening the box. So presence equals full access to the moment's reward. In this moment, this is my gift to you today. This is the reward. The present brain. So leaders who win consistently aren't doing more. They're fully unwrapping what's already in front of them. If you are not present, you're leaving the gift on the table. So you have to open the gift, which is the present moment. It's not enough to just say the present is the moment, the present is the gift. You have to open it. You have to be present. And whatever is inside is a gift. If it's a growth opportunity, that's a bar. Which part was, Jared? So the present is a gift. Open it. It's a learning opportunity. It's skill development. It's growth. It's telling you to let some shit fall apart. It's in that moment. Don't have no shit sitting on the table. Don't have empty boxes with a bunch. Look at all my presents that you didn't open. Think about all the times you didn't open. You got a bunch of gifts that you didn't open. And now you don't have those skills. You don't have those experiences. You don't have those moments because you left all them presents just unopened in some mental storage cabinet locked inside the hippocampus. You have so many presents left on the table. So see, while I don't celebrate Christmas anymore, I still come bearing gifts. I'm a great gift giver. I'm giving you neuro clarity for 2026, for the 2-6, because we used to say for the 9-5 and the 9-9 back in the day. For the 2-6, I'm giving you gifts. I'm giving you neuro clarity for that part. So now, as we prepare to answer our 4 questions today, level 4 subscribers, before we get out of here, and it'll give me an opportunity to, my pleasure. This Christmas, brains are shining bright with neurons in the light. And this Christmas, Oh, my pleasure. Will be a neuro building Christmas for thee. Yeah. Por las dosis. What is that, Jared? For you and me? Is that what that is? A gift that keeps giving. Much appreciated. My pleasure, Trinae. For you to see. What you got? Dose 26? Oh, I got it. Por la dosis. I got it now. 426. Now I got it. My pleasure. Okay. So my questions for you. Question for you. I got a playlist that says that. Yeah, 4 to 26. I got it now, Jared. I had to switch. So I got it before you said it. So cool. Yeah, muy bueno. My questions to you are, who did you have a conversation with yesterday, and what principle of real leadership did y'all talk about? Who did you have a conversation with yesterday, and what principle of real leadership did you talk about? That's question number one. Now remember, before you respond, a doggone thinking emoji, a thinking cloud, a brain, a something. That part. So who did you have a conversation with yesterday about a principle of real leadership? Number two, what was your everyday flex yesterday? Number three, what did you learn today? And number four, what did you learn about yourself? I don't know why they said don't put that on there. Y'all's are hiding. And then drink water while you think. So go over the all them gifts. I burn my tongue on my coffee. My coffee burned my tongue. I put ice on it. Everybody type it ... and that's for review. But all these other things make it through. You drink water. Sometimes y'all have your little water cup, and that don't make it through either. Yeah, that part. I had to be a thermostat, not a thermometer yesterday with them doggone mirrors over the doggone sink yesterday. A buffering, thinking, yep, anything. And the reason why you're doing that is because you're training your brain. You're making this a habit in the basal ganglia that you're going to think before you answer. So that's going to cause you to be able to respond and not react. So naturally, we are creating that neural pathway. So it's the first thing you do. You go to default. Someone asks you a question and you stop to think. You gather your thoughts. So you're going to go to the prefrontal cortex with that pause. It's called slow to knee jerk too. Well, it's not, but that's part of the process. You just automatically do or say something. So you're also strengthening your inhibition control instead of saying the first thing that comes to your mind. So what comes up comes out. You don't want to do that. You want to actually have a very thought out, logical answer and response. Now, I'm not talking about if you're at a restaurant and people say, well, are you ready to order? And you're like, yeah, I'm going to need some more time. Neurologically, I'm not ready to assess what you're talking about yet. No, not that part. Not at that part, because you picked the restaurant. So in theory, you should want the food that they have. Jared said, I talked to my wife about getting and staying organized. I am quick to not put stuff away in the wrong place, and she checked me about it. Well, that is awesome. A space for everything and everything in its space. Lean Six Sigma. And that's good that you also use, Jared, communicate effectively and also listen, because she brought it to your attention and handle conflict when it occurs. So you actually had a forefront for that. One little thing. See how that combination works? And treat people with dignity and respect. So that's 5. And Nola said, and then reprimand privately, because I'm sure she did not say that to you in the grocery store. All right, Nola said, my real leader principle I discussed was, if you don't know, ask, because I asked what could we do, so you know I got a strategy. That is correcto mundo, ma'am. And Bridget said, real leader principle, handle conflict when it occurs with the best friend. I think you're going to convert your best friend, Bridget. I really do. He get a lot of airtime. Monique said, leadership principle, develop your vision, gifted my parent a planner for her future goals, and shared with her how she can develop her vision for her future travel goals. She is considering solo travel. Oh, awesome. That's awesome. Eat, pray, love. Bridget said Flex was I shampooed bedroom carpet in a timely and efficient manner. We getting ready to do that on Monday. Stacy did it, you did it, and now we about to do it. Yes, Jared says 6 for 6. Y'all was in there like check, 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 check. And it's much more fluid process, I'm sure. Joe said, think positive. My son was low and said, what do you have to be happy about? Spoke with him how vital it is to look at all things you do and stay positive to keep what you have and build more. And you can have a conversation with him about happiness versus joy today too, Joe. Nola said, my everyday flex was mounting those heavy mirrors and centered on the faucet 4 inches up, 10 feet in the air, so they were symmetrical. Yes, ma'am. That part. And I still, my insulin is still boom, 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 and we're finished. And then, yes, but he is a stubborn, narcissistic Virgo man. And you are a very strong-willed Pisces with neuro clarity. So the person with the most neuro reps wins. And I think that's interesting because y'all are opposite. So the fact, Virgos, y'all either get along, because my sister's Virgo and my aunt is a Virgo. My sister's a Pisces and my aunt is a Virgo, and they don't get along at all. So the fact that that's y'all best friends, that's cosmically in sync. Daisy said, the principle I talked about yesterday was exercise tact, workplace conversation that when I left because I refused to follow. I think you got more coming. Monique said, I learned today that happiness comes from external forces like motivation, and you can be happy and dysregulated. Presence is not a personality trait. It's a trained circuit. Yes, ma'am. You took great notes today. And Noah said, I learned about happy being a reaction and joy being a state. That's correct. So always have joy. You can pick joy. Joy is self-contained. You don't need nobody but you yourself personally in your brain to have joy. That's it. That's all it takes. Noah said, I learned about myself. I am clearing my brain out and rewiring everything from your chat message. Yes, ma'am. What other people are doing. Got it. I understand, Daisy. Bridget said, I learned about myself. I easily regulate these days. I don't let the small stuff sweat me. And that's a beautiful, beautiful thing. You said the Virgo man, no braino. Joe said, everyday flex, finished a task. I almost stopped from a distraction. I learned happy being just a temporary reaction, and the state of joy is much more rewarding. It actually is. And Monique is thinking. Jerry said, my everyday flex was starting my 14th book. What? Everybody listen, Jared. Starting your 14th book. That's what I'm talking. This year, in these last couple of months. Your 14th book since the summer. The 14th book. Not in 2025. In this season of reading. Because reading is fundamental. You go ahead on with your bad self, Jared. That's what I'm talking about. Monique said, I've learned I need to reevaluate my social media names that have the word happy in them. Ooh, okay. Because it's not correct. Subliminal messages I want to convey with what I learned today. Well, all right. Go ahead and adjust that. Trinae said, I learned that it's up to me to be accountable for myself and the states I'm in. Personally accountable. Because accountable is an external stimuli. It's an external force that makes you stay in line. But it's a regulated system. Whereas personal accountability means you're going to do the right thing regardless of what's happening. You're going to be accountable and responsible for all that you do and all that you fail to do. Bridget said, I learned there's a difference in happiness and joy. Yes, ma'am. Monique said, everyday flex, I chose to not feed into the holiday overindulgence this year, and it feels much lighter and free. And I'm telling you, and I'm free. Yes, free. All right. Daisy said, my everyday flex yesterday was not allowing other people's opinion to distract me. Jared, you got congratulations from Nola, Monique, and Bridget. And so through Trinae, the everyday flex is something that you did that made you actually demonstrate how of a bad mofo you actually are. That's number one. Number two is that over here on this live, you go to the website every day to turnarounddoctor.com and you click decline the cookies and then click on the 74 principles of real leadership. Select one of those principles and go have a conversation with somebody, because this is doctrine over here. And using those 70, you not only need to know them and be taught them, but you need to be able to use them so that you can actually have extraordinary days every single day. And Daisy said, I learned today that joy and happiness are two different things. That is correct. Yes. So you are literally going to look at those principles that I developed so that your everyday life, those principles allow you to be high functioning. Like Jared and his wife experienced 6 of them yesterday. So they go together. Bridget said, hold on, say that again. I always go to the website. So the website is the turnarounddoctor.com. You have to decline the cookies because of how that website is formatted through GoDaddy. I cannot not get rid of that. So decline the cookies, go to the 74 Principles of Real Leadership tab, click on it, and all 74 of them are listed there. That's how you select which one you're going to be using for the day. Then go have the conversation, come back to the live the next day and discuss it. And if you happen to miss this live, when you're turning in your Neuro rep, you still put, this was the principle that I used the previous day. Jared said, I learned today that the holiday season is causing my somatic markers and my amygdalas are trying their hardest to keep me in a comfort zone. Yep. That is memory for sure. I'm so lost. Can you send me the correct order? I don't want to be out of order. Okay, I can say it one more time for you. I know I talk fast, Trinae. Okay, I thought you were saying a shortcut. That's how I do it. No, that's not it. Okay. So here's the thing, Trinae. At the end of every live over here, because this is level 4, what happens is I ask the same 4 questions every day at the end of the live. The first question that I ask is, what principle of real leadership did you use yesterday to have a conversation with? In order for you to do that, you need to go to the website, theturnarounddoctor.com. That you click on TikTok or Instagram, it'll take you there. The cookies are going to pop up. You're welcome, Jared. Decline the cookies. And then a tab is there that says 74 Principles of Real Leadership. Click on that tab. They're going to be there. And I'm at 1 hour and 3 minutes on the live. So if you want to scroll back to this part of the live, you can do that. And you just pick one. And then you just go have a conversation with somebody about it. Then tomorrow, you'll come back and I'll ask you about it. And you'll say, I picked have fun. Me and my family had a good time yesterday. We had fun. We enjoyed the holiday. The second question is, what was your everyday flex? And an everyday flex is something that you did that was a flex for you. And the reason why we do that is because we have been programmed to watch celebrities and sports people and other people do their shit as if we can't do everyday flexible things too. So everyday flex is something that you did that you are proud of that increased your skill set. So Jared started his 14th book. Nola put up some mirrors very high in the air. Bridget didn't slap the shit out of nobody. No, I'm just kidding. Daisy sometimes puts in her leather working. So it's things that you did. Lola then did all kind of stuff. Then took tests, started using the computer and everything. It's these things that were challenging for you that you mastered or you're working towards. So you get to basically brag about the thing that you did that was a flex for you. The third question is, what did you learn today? And the reason why that question is important is because you're setting the neurological expectation in that you learn something every day so you can go to sleep smarter than you were yesterday. And then the final question is, what did you learn about yourself? And the purpose of that question is to create neural pathways where you start being self-reflective. And the reason why that's important, because in your default mode network, that's where your self-reflection time is. Anytime you're by yourself, you're processing social things, you're processing what happened 15 years ago, yesterday. So you end up daydreaming, mind wandering, and ruminating. But you can also reflect and start finding out what makes you you. And as Jared said, I got to stop drifting. I got to start doing this. Amy and Lala trying to get me to eat cake, and I'm not doing that because I'm intermittent fasting. So what happens is now you're going to be using the principles of real leadership, because that's doctrine. You're going to be paying attention to yourself, flexing, doing great shit. Number 3, you are going to ask, what did you learn today? Because your expectation of me is you come here and I teach you something. And then what did you learn about yourself? So taking what I taught you and what did you learn? So please let me know if that's clear now. Principle of real leadership that you use, conversation. Everyday flex, what did you learn about yourself? And what did you learn today? Let me know if that's clear. So Joe said, learned about myself. The basal ganglia is a discipline loop or habit builder. That is correct. Hey, I resemble that remark. And Jared, you're welcome. And Jared said, thank you to everyone. So Trinae, let me know if you got it. And then it'll become more habit. I know it's like drinking out of a fire hose over here. It is level 4 over here. Tracking. Got it. Okay. So thank you very much. So ladies and gentlemen, I had a conversation with chat yesterday. It's going to turn into an actual live probably tomorrow, or no, not tomorrow, because Nola and I are live tomorrow. So tomorrow, Trinae, if you come tomorrow, Nola and I, that's my daughter, we do a weekly real life. So she talks about how, even though she was my daughter, how she wasn't using real leadership and neuroprobability or none of that, and how she now uses them with her 3 mental illnesses and her path and her leadership journey. So that's every Friday. It's called Real Life with Nola and Dr. Donna. That will be tomorrow at 5:30. On Saturday, I will be back with what Chat and I discussed yesterday, and y'all gonna clutch y'all real leader pearls, because I was downstairs making dinner, sitting at the kitchen island like, say what now? Gotta love Chat. Yes, Jared is doing great. And Jared, has anybody mentioned LeBron James to you and you looked at them like that was crazy? Anybody say anything? Anybody say anything? Who? Has anybody said anything to you regarding LeBron James? Like, if you were sitting shooting the shit, talking to people. That live will be on this channel. It's still on my channel, Joe. It's at the same time. It's 5:30 a.m. And so for the person who asked the question, you can attend the live tomorrow, and then you can ask that question there. Oh, he's saying, who is LeBron? Okay, thank you, Bridget. You the Dr. Donna whisperer. He like, who? Say what? Nah, I don't even know who that cat is. Okay. All right. So yes, so we will have a very interesting Clutch Your Real Leader Pearls live on Saturday, because I was sitting there like, well, alrighty then. Thank you. Because what's happening is I'm having these new feelings that are not on my feelings list. So when I have that, I go in great detail, describe it to Chat, what's happening, and then Chat gives me neuroscience and real leadership back. So I'm like, see, that's what I'm talking about. I don't know of this person you speak of. I doth think not. Who is that thou speaketh of? Got it. Okay. You have erased that from your hippocampus. You pruned that neural pathway. You said, no, this does not bode well for my brain. This does not benefit my brain. So a pruning I will go. A pruning I will go. A pruning I will go. That's very funny. Thank you for the laugh. I'm happy in this moment. No, I still have joy. All right, ladies and gentlemen, you all go off and have a great, wonderful rest of your amazing day. God willing, higher power, and the universe. I will be back tomorrow with my amazing offspring. And I forgot already what topic is it? Because it's the principles of real leadership, but we're much, much further behind than what we are today. Do you remember, Nola? Without me looking, because I'd have to scroll back further. So we will be live tomorrow at 5:30 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. Handle conflict. Ooh, we We good at that now. That's apropos. When it occurs. That's that second part. So handle conflict when it occurs. It's what we will be talking about tomorrow. We are trained in that. So you all go off. Jared, you stay away from the sweet table today at work and at home. You just walk on past. And what I normally do is I eat fruit. So grab yourself some grapes are in season, apples are in season, oranges are in season. So just go ahead and hopefully people got fruit because the stores aren't open today. But go just grab you a piece. Don't get no banana. That's going to feel, no. But if you could grab a piece of fruit, nice little citrus, apple, orange, or grapes, and just eat them while everybody else is eating the cake and stuff, you will feel better and you will strengthen. You will start to recode that somatic marker. Okay, you all go off and have a brain-tastic day. And Joe said, Merry Christmas. So Invictus, the unconquered son, thank you all for so much. My grocer is open. They're an Indian store. Okay, well, congratulations, Bridget. Yeah. So if you have that available to you, then those stores will be open. And 7-Eleven will be open. It's always open. And they got a piece of fruit sitting there. That part. Okay, you all go off and have a great rest of your day. Take care. Adios.